Welcome back to the GSL Code A. This is round one, what I like to call the Danger Days. Whoever loses goes to Code B. We're in our final best of 3 of the night, man.
Yeah, we are. YoDa is up against Tia, another Terran versus Protoss match that we are going to witness very soon. Here are the results of the last game where Huck was not able to win a map against Shine, who advances now to face either Fantasy or Zenio.
Yeah, interesting matchup that is going to be Fantasy versus Zenio. So that side of the bracket looking pretty scary, of course. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's time for YoDa versus Tier.
That's going to be a really interesting game. YoDa was in Code S several times already, and on the other hand, we have Tier, player that was mainly able to do a lot in the GSTL.
Yeah, if you look at that positive ratio, he's going to have better ratio overall than YoDa. Remember, YoDa being a Code S player, though, playing against really high-level players and having many more games played overall.
Tier just looks incredible against Terran lately, winning against Jugjet, Home Story Cup, taking out Hack as well. Then he had to play in the Code A qualifier and against 2 Terran players, against Bang and against the SCC. Bang before that took out Argo, Jaehoon, so that was definitely not an easy opponent. So if you just look at his games against Terran, he seems to be on quite a roll now, and now he's facing YoDa. This is going to be a very, very interesting match.
YoDa cannot be happy with this. I mean, he's probably looked through his match history himself and is looking, wow, you know, he's doing pretty well against Terrans. They have something special planned.
Tia, to me, is one of those players that is heavily underestimated by a lot of people, and that some people don't tend to don't really tend to watch when they are talking about upcoming and good StarCraft players, but he has shown it in the GSTL, and he is definitely strong. YoDa won't make the mistake of underestimating him, and you guys shouldn't do that either. Tia is a monster. If he's in good shape in a day, he can take down anyone.
Yep, he really can, man. I would call him the wildcard Protoss in the Team League, because in the Team League he does crazy strategy. You never know what you're going to expect. You never know who's going to snipe or kill. But in this case, it's straight up. This is his first individual league appearance in the GSL up against YoDa. Who's going to come out on top? Let's find out right now in GSL Code A.
Starting to the top right, we have our Terran player. He's starting full GIM. This is, of course,
LGIM YoDa.
very strong player in Code S, though. He was not able to win against Jan, nor was he able to take down Squirtle. Therefore, he finds himself now in the first round of Code A. And starting to the bottom left is his opponent. He's starting for FXO, and it is
FXO Tier.
I like his new hair. It's a little bit more trimmed. Just like a little bit more, I guess I would say, cleaned up. YoDa, will he take a gas or not, man? On this map, we've seen so many players going for that Hellion play. See if YoDa will be the exception to the rule.
Well, the thing is, if you just look at Tia, I talked a bit about his recent history against Terran, where he excels, where he was able to take down so many of them. But also, if you just look at the raw numbers, he is a player who currently has a 67% win ratio against Terran, which is quite impressive. It's by far his best matchup. And then you have YoDa, a player who has a lot more experience in the individual league, and was also on IEM in Katowice just recently, where he performed quite well. And YoDa, in this matchup, has a 53% win ratio and has defeated opponents like Yonghwa first, and a lot of others took down Grubby with a 3-1 at IEM. So that, I think in this game, those guys are evenly matched. You might want to give YoDa an experience advantage over Tia, of course, but Tia is very unpredictable.
Yeah, he's got that surprise advantage.
Makes him hard to face.
Yeah, it's very difficult. He's doing a build, by the way, which is quite unique. He's going for Gate Nexus Core, so he's going for a slightly later tech and a very fast expansion. As soon as YoDa sees us, he immediately goes for a CC. On the high ground, though, a little bit weird. This is, of course, going to make Tier a little bit nervous when he doesn't see anything on the low ground, but at the same time, why hide it when you know your opponent already has a fast Nexus? That's the question. He could go for a fast third CC. That would not surprise me at all. Wants to put a little bit of pressure on as well.
With the information that he has, he could have built it definitely on the low ground, but right now he knows there's an expansion. He had those guarding information earlier already. So far we don't see gas. The probe, of course, trying to get in again.
And he will get inside. He also chases away the Marines with his Zealot.
And he sees at least He's pretty sure he spotted that command center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, he saw the command center to the left, but not the third one to the right.
And this is tricky. It's a way to catch up in a surprising fashion. Instead of just taking the command center and maybe showing one command center and making the pros think he's ahead because you just took one rank to expand, you keep both command centers kind of hidden in the main, and now Tears, what's he doing? I see one command center, okay. Now he feels maybe a sense of security, like, alright, well, I'm ahead now, but he doesn't know there's going to be triple fuels, there's going to be triple SC production coming out soon.
Yeah. And this is always the one big problem that you have as a Protoss. When your opponent walls, then it's very hard for you to find out what's going on. And for Tier, we also have the double gas, whereas YoDa is going to go straight into the Twilight Council. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is him being really taking huge risk. The big problem for him right now is if there's going to be some play with Banshees, he saw the command center already, so he knows, okay, you're going into an expand. But if this is just the command center into gas, there could be a delayed Banshee play.
Very true.
He doesn't get scouting information.
And he's going to need some sort of vision anyways if he wants to attack on the high ground with his Blink Stalkers. Otherwise, he's going to be only able to fight on low ground, which can and has worked in the past. Oh, this Stalker cannot be taken out.
Close. Really close.
And he's going to try to deny the scout here. No scout nation.
And that's the duck line. Here we go.
I said engineering bay for some reason, but I meant to say Twilight Council. Just for all those, like, really, those nerds out there. Wait a minute, there's no EV in this game.
Sitting there with a notebook.
Yeah. Alright, the 12:20 mark, he said that. I'm like, I don't know, guys, that was at the 6:40 mark. He needs a forward pylon for this, but he will get one. And the eBay is just non-existent. He has 2 orbitals, or actually 3 orbitals, really.
He has the orbitals, and if he has the energy, then he can rob them. But at this point, this is definitely... I like this. This is just very tier-like. Yeah. Very unpredictable, not what you would expect. We have it at a position that you usually don't scan. If you scan a part of the high ground and your natural, but I don't feel that a scan would cover the Dark Shrine. So now a little bit of a later timing for the robotics, but how much damage will those DTs do? Does he get a DT into the main base, or will YoDa see the blur and then lift those depots?
That's what we're about to find out. I mean, he's going to have to hit those scans so well. Without combat shields, every shot of the DT will kill a Marine.
Pylon has been spotted, at least one of them, and here comes the turret. Immediately, he knows something's on.
Yeah, something is not right here.
The Pylon in this position, nothing else.
He's got a scan. That one scan should be enough.
He sees it.
Yeah, and now the turret will finish, and that's going to be the end of that.
Yeah, well done. Really well done. He sees immediately what's going on. He sees the Pylon, and this lead lets him to believe, well, you don't have any units accompanying this Pylon. You're not going to go for gateway aggression here. So what do you need the swap-in Pylon for? DT is one of the options. He saves the energy for the scan. He sees the blur, he scans, and at the same time also uses one of those turrets at the front. Very well played by YoDa. Very map aware.
Very map aware indeed. Now Tier has to transition. He spent a lot of resources on those DTs. In fact, 2 DTs out of the map now. Might make that into an Archon a little bit later, but for now he's trying to use it for map vision. Get really good information about where YoDa might drop him, while getting his double upgrades out, getting his Sword Bay tech out.
If you think about it, we've talked about it earlier, this is finally the Inca Memorial build, and it's exactly as effective as it was with the former ODS player.
That's very true. DT, well, we forced that weird stem.
That was, yeah.
Those Marines are just addicts.
Considering that he didn't have a lot of medivacs?
I think this must have been a mistake. Oh, well. That DT gets away.
That is the luckiest DT so far.
You can actually go and do a lot more with that DT if there's no more scans, which I...
At least he's going to force another one.
Yeah, I'll force another scan for sure. And now he can't use that mule right away. Oh, it's just so annoying. Now he's going to go for some more. Combat shield's still not quite done yet, so again, one-shotting any Marine he runs into.
Oh, the DT is blocking the orbital! Oh, that was so close. Moving to position, going for the whole position too. Wow. Tier is doing a decent job killing a Marauder, and the scan is just barely enough to take it down.
Look at that stim, you know, that's a massive stim.
Yeah.
A lot of these units injured by this. So it's almost as if the DT did AoE damage to all those units if you think about it in one way. That's actually
That's a DT storm.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about forcing stems of mutas or DTs up, you basically just did like a blast of AoE damage to that Bioforce if he stems like that. Finally scans again to kill that DT. So think about what's happened in this game. He has a third orbital for extra mules, but with all the scans he's had to use, he hasn't really gotten too much of a return on that.
Third base here for Tier being built, and he has double forge. He goes into the upgrades where we have YoDa also with the second engineering bay now. He wants to get the second upgrade too, with a +1 attack upgrade now going into armor, and both of them starting to set the path for a late game. These guys not moving back, and the DT moves in, missile turret or not, getting a few kills and then just backing off again.
He shoots his own SCB out of anger and frustration. You know, Tier has not gotten, he hasn't had his third base up for long, but he's got the better tech here.
That SCV was probably just mouthing off. You know how SCVs are, they're always complaining that they work so hard, and at the same time, yeah, just, you know,
I'm listening.
If you pull, I'm listening, yeah. If you pull a leg of all those Marines, I mean, what do you expect? At some points, they will just bully you around.
It's exactly right. You can't let them talk you down like that. It's just not acceptable.
It asked for it.
They asked for it, indeed. Marine wants to scout here. Unfortunately, not able to. That's a terrible way to go. Second starport will finish up here before the factory gets killed or anything weird like that, so he has the ability to make extra Vikings. This situation that we're in right now is just kind of transitioning normally, but I feel like Tier is going to get further and further ahead with his upgrades if YoDa doesn't do something about this. He needs to do some drops or start trading a little bit.
I love the Ghost Academy, not only for EMPs and snipes and potential High Templars, but also he can use them later on, even for positional nuking, which is of course going to be a late game scenario. But I really like that he doesn't skim anything. He's going for a catch-all build, basically, that helps him with facing all the possibilities that we currently have.
Yeah.
Bit of a supply block here for Tier, dropping those two Palans right away, but it's of course annoying, missing a round of Warpins.
Yeah, and he's going to really want to make sure he hits those in the future, especially these 4 gateways going up. With 4 gateways, that's basically 1 pylon right there, whatever you warp in, so now he starts the third pylon. Making sure he misses. It's always a little bit awkward on that watchtower. Your opponent has vision of the high ground by the watchtower. You think you have the high ground advantage. Unfortunately for Tier, he has to back up against supply block, but those pylons are starting to finish up. He could try to hit a timing with 3-3 over 2-2 against YoDa. We've seen this a lot. On the other hand, YoDa could try to pull his SCBs and hit a similar timing against Tier.
Yeah, and YoDa currently is not that far behind in the upgrades, but nice, blinks away with the Stalkers. Gets into a decent position now. The Guardian Shield is active, moves in, tries to go for a fight here. Charge is not done yet.
Both players so patient here, neither of them really committing to that engagement that doesn't need to be had.
Fourth base, soon to be built. Tier with the probe at the bottom right already. There it is.
Yeah, it's a slightly hidden base. It's not going to be the base that YoDa expects. He expects to see the base.
There they are.
There's
the
that lazy boy, man.
He's going in. He's going for the massive attack.
He's going to try to hit as +2 armor finishes. Obviously, YoDa really wants to hold here. He needs... Oh, he's going to go for a counterattack, but the problem is this isn't too helpful considering there's no SCVs here.
Exactly, there's just nothing left, and he moves down. He can blink away, and he has to. He sees the SCVs. Doesn't have Storm. Only three Colossi. Force fields are good.
They're so far back with great control on those Colossi. Now picking up more Vikings. The Archon even gets a shot off.
Great force fields. Really well controlled by Tier here.
No EMP is able to reach here.
Takes down the Vikings. A very good spot. Here comes the first EMP. The upgrades are not done just yet. +2 is ready. +2 armor is not. And once again another stim by YoDa. But the force fields are good. And look at all those Colossi still doing damage.
Yeah, the Zealots are not able to connect. And now he has too much. Now the force fields are gone. I feel like Tier's force fields work against him more than for him here. Now there's too much Bioforce ripping through. He warps in some DTs, but the scans are good. And I think this could be it for Tier.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. There are no Colossi left. He doesn't have the area of effect damage anymore. The Zealots are trying to head into the natural now to do damage over there. Another round of warp-ins. The Harvest account in favor of Tier. So many SCVs used by YoDa to make this happen. The reinforcements are being completely cut off. The Zealots charging them one by one. But this is still such a massive army for the LGIM Terran player.
Yeah, he's trying to use more and more DTs. The attack here is just too strong. The Ghost, 2 extra damage to Light. Zealots getting stuck at a choke point. I feel Tier's Force Fields might have been, they were started out great, but they might have been the end
He's
of it.
dancing. He is dancing like a player. We have him here with facing a Protoss without any area effect.
GG.
Without area effect damage, Tier just can't take him down. YoDa is gonna move into game number 2 with a 1-0 lead over his opponent. The first initial force fields were great, later on a bit tricky.
Yeah, you know, he tried to fight too soon. I think he thought his force fields might have worn away a little bit faster. Tier is here with a lot of his teammates, notably, of course, Gumiho, talking to him quite a bit. And you can see the shadow of his face there on the reflection. That's who's talking to him right now. Choya is here as well as some of the other FXO B teamers and coaches. So a ton of support. The same as is true of YoDa's coach, Hirai, who posts a lot actually on Team Liquid. And I spoke to him a little bit before the match. He looked really stressed out, but he can rest easy knowing that YoDa took that game pretty convincingly. There were a few moments of shakiness, and Tier was almost about to get those 3-3 upgrades, but a great time by YoDa. Really nicely done.
And Tier, with a bit better unit control, could pull this off. The force fields in the end a little bit better, shielding those Zealots better before the actual fight starts, trying to get the 4th Colossus out, having more area of effect damage, sending the Zealots over a little bit faster. Of course, in the heat of the moment, it's really hard to remember all these things and just pull it off for us. Always easy to say. But Tier was close. He was really close here. This was not a game that YoDa just simply won because he's on an entirely different level. Tier in a position where he can claim victory, and we might see this going into a 3rd game.
Yeah, I absolutely could. The map is Akalon Flats, by the way, which is another good map for Protoss, I feel, in this matchup. Watchtowers disappear after a period of time. This is all about map awareness and control. This map is a very terrain-specific map with Vikings, high ground vision, Stalkers, and of course Ghosts, EMPs, terrain, everything. Can Tier turn this around and tie it up, or is YoDa going to advance to the 2nd round? Let's find out right now here at the GSL Code.